Crystal, you went to Japan. You told us about it a few weeks ago. You had a great time.
Oh, yes. Can't wait to go back, actually.
Well, today our adventurers responded with their own tips. It'll be just like you're there again, Crystal, already. Today we're going to hear about throwing up in your new boss's wife's shoes.
Right. Okay.
We need like a break sound effect. What? Canceled flights because of a typhoon. That's not good. And playing the exchange rate game. Our adventurers have some amazing stories.
Oh, I'm looking forward to hearing those because I want to know, why were the wife's shoes near the person's face in the first place to even throw up?
How was the wife's shoes in Japan? That's what I want to know.
That's fun. That's a good one.
And what was your wife's boss even doing in Japan?
And her shoes, what were they doing next to your face? So I'm glad none of that stuff happened to me when I went to Japan, but I am excited to make another trip back to Japan. So adventurers, at the end of this episode and every show, you'll hear our gear of the day pick. And if you're looking for best-in-class gear that's worth the price, head to our Amazon page at stackingadventures.com/gear of the day. But wait, there's more. We have a short version, stackingadventures.com/GOTD. You'll help the show and you'll help yourself adventure better and for less money.
Ready for adventure? From vacation to staycation and from the mountains to the beach. This is the Stacking Adventures podcast.
Welcome to the Stacking Adventures podcast, where we head around the world with our adventure community to stack memories we'll remember forever. She's Crystal Hammond.
And I'm Joe Salcy High.
Bam.
He's Joe.
She is both today. Crystal, we are headed back to Japan. I know you're super excited. I'm excited because one thing that I didn't mention before is that my daughter lived in Japan for 2 years.
What? Way to screw the pooch on this one.
What are you talking about? We didn't want people that live there. We want people that are venturing there.
Well, so you're trying to tell me that your daughter lives there and went on 0 adventures when she lived there?
Well, first, she doesn't live there anymore. And second, look at the time. Let's move on. We've got some fantastic adventures. By the way, before we get into this, if you want to share your adventure story to Japan, we do potpourri episodes from time to time with all of our different adventures. We've had some people tell us wonderful things after they heard our second trip to a place. So we generally have a guest who goes to the place. Then we ask you about the place. And then we have a potpourri episode about all kinds of different places. stackingadventures.com/mystory or stackingadventures.com/voicemail. They both work. But just think about telling your story. stackingadventures.com/mystory. Tell your story there, and you'll have 5 minutes to tell it on a future show. But that's the future, Crystal. Let's get into the present. Because we've got a few fantastic people, and we're going to start with a story from our friend Katie. And actually, Katie, I met Katie at Camp Phi this fall over Labor Day weekend in the United States, and she was super fun. We played some games together, some board games, but turns out Katie's been to Japan. Here's Katie's story.
Hey, Adventure Stackers. This is Katie from Passports on Fire. I taught English in Japan back in the late 90s and then went back last year for 17 days.
And actually, it's funny, Crystal. I'm going to stop right there. First of all, teaching English in Japan, Katie, that's exactly what my daughter did.
Cool.
For 2 years. You can teach, I think, a maximum of 3. And it's a program through the Japanese government. Autumn had already been out of college for a while. Mm-hmm. She had a job working for a company in Kansas City. She loved her work. She hated the company she worked for. So I'll leave it nameless. But she decided to go on an adventure, which, by the way, I think in your 20s is a great time to do stuff like this, right? To see the world.
Do it now. Yeah. What was her level of Japan knowledge before she decided, I'm gonna go teach English? Or you don't really need much?
They were told ahead of time you needed none. And my daughter studies the heck out of everything. So she studied and studied and studied and learned. You didn't need much. She also learned that a lot of people are right out of college when they do this trip. So she had a pretty good shot of getting it. She found out later that she got a pretty great assignment because of the fact that she was more mature than a lot of the teachers were, so they could handle her in some of the areas where they needed better help. So she taught at 3 different schools, and every day she would go to a different school and she would help different kids. And it was a great experience. Her Japanese is pretty good now. Yeah, and I'm sure Katie's Japanese is good. So that's the first thing. But second thing is not just doing that adventure when you're young. And actually I want to pause there for just a second longer. We had a guest on the Stacking Benjamin show, Crystal, who talked about how a lot of people make a mistake going right from college into advanced degrees. And every study shows 2 things. Number one is if you go get a job for just a couple of years after your 4-year degree, after your BA or BS, that you are more likely, or heck, even your associates, you're more likely to understand the world because you really need that work experience. And then you go back to school. When you go back to school, you know why you're in school. You get better grades. You retain more of the advanced degree. So you come out and you're even better at your job, and you're better at getting a better job. So this idea of going right into an advanced program after your undergraduate degree, not really as great an idea as going and getting a job someplace.
And then there's another really big perk too. A lot of companies will pay for you to get that advanced degree also, because they want you to stick around, number one. And number two, it helps them because they're staying, on top of emerging technology. Like the patent office, they pay for law school. They also pay for advanced degrees also, like in certain specialties. So
wow.
They don't forget that. Yeah.
My son's in one of those right now, Crystal. He works for Microsoft and he is getting a degree. He's getting an MBA in tech business management, and Microsoft's paying for it. So to your point, yeah, great idea all around. And he loves the program that he's in. And I think there's a lot of nuance because he's taking these classes about managing people and about managing the books. And now that he's worked in a company, and he sees this in real life, he knows what's important and what's not in the degree. The second thing, though, Katie talked about going for 17 days. And I know this is really difficult for our adventurers. But when you go somewhere, one thing that I learned, and I think you can probably second, Crystal, if you can see less and stay longer, it's generally a better trip.
Oh, yeah. I was there for 10 days. I do remember that. And the time flew, but it was... I loved every minute. I was like, it's time to go home. No, keep me, please.
I'm glad they didn't, because we need you here. But anyway, Katie, just a great start to your message. Yeah. And go adventure when you're young. That's awesome. But anyway, she went back.
Good news. The dollar is so freaking strong against the yen right now that everything costs about the same as it did 25 years ago.
This is
That's
another
huge.
point.
Yeah.
I've never thought of that, Crystal.
Me neither. It's like she went back in time. Because remember when, I can't believe it's almost so long ago, but remember when we used to talk about, being in the 50s and imagine, loaf of bread in the 50s prices. But, now it's like knocking on 75 years ago. But like to the point 25 years ago, I cannot imagine like buying souvenirs, because that's my bread and butter, buying souvenirs when I go somewhere. So I cannot imagine.
25 years ago is 1999.
Ouch.
But if you don't think about it too much and you go, when was 25 years ago? You go 1975. It's got to be 1975.
Yeah, the 50s. Like I want to go back to 50s prices.
Yeah. 50s pricing would be great. But she makes a great point. If you've got a bucket list and you're not sure which one you want to do next, look at exchange rates. Mm-hmm. So if you've got 4 places that are equal, why wouldn't I tackle the one that's cheapest today? Just hope rolling the dice that maybe the other ones go through the same thing, because I've read so many things about Tokyo being in the past one of the most expensive cities on earth. And it still is going to be expensive, but it's less expensive if the exchange rate's strong. Yeah,
you're going to feel so powerful with that dollar. When you get it exchanged, you're like, oh, yeah.
just throwing your yen all over the place?
Making it rain at the dollar store, the 100 yen store. That's what I did.
You will not stop talking. The 100 yen store must be amazing.
My God, it is. It has different floors. One of them had 5 floors of fun.
We're going to hear about another place that's not amazing in the U.S., but is amazing abroad. But I'm foreshadowing. Let's get back to Katie.
So I've got some practical tips for your trip. I'll start with, don't hesitate to use public transportation. It's fast, efficient, clean, and pretty cheap for what you're getting. It's also incredibly safe, to the point where I saw the occasional little first grader traveling home from school alone on the Tokyo subway.
Wow.
Yep. Like I said, it was super clean. We saw the guy on the train with the beer bottle in his back pocket, like carrying it around, because it was very, very clean. Nobody was polluting, and it was so easy to take the train. It would go, they had a number system, so you knew, if you were going from stop 1 to stop 20, like which direction, because here we use names and you're like, okay, I don't know which way I'm supposed to go, like which platform. So it made it so much easier to know which direction you needed to go and where you were, in relation to which stops too.
Numbers much more multilingual.
Yeah.
Another thing that my daughter told me, and I've had several people confirm, and Crystal, you can confirm, I'm sure Katie, you can confirm this, is that there is a social mores, though, around riding public transportation. And that is that it's very, very quiet.
Oh,
and if you talk, especially loudly, you are breaking a social mores.
Well,
like my daughter would always say, I'm getting on the subway. I'm getting on the train. I gotta hang up.
Well, and what makes that even funnier is that when we were on the train, you're smashed, and on the bus, you're person to person. There's so many people on it too, and it is quiet. It is super quiet. So yeah, I didn't even notice that but that was a funny Twitter thread I saw, and they were like, what do you hate about Americans? And it's always, Americans are so loud. Like, why are you so loud?
And it's funny because I've been in France, and it's been loud. I've been in well, heck, when we were just in Chile, it was pretty loud, and there were a lot of people talking. But I think that it's a whole different thing in Japan. Everybody's going to know that you're loud in Japan. Let's move on with more Katie.
Having lived in New York City, this to me was pretty shocking and also very telling in a good way. Also, the subway bathrooms are pretty awesome. Like every other bathroom in Japan, it's clean, private, and they all have a bidet. Every toilet.
Yep. Dubai
anywhere,
too.
Even the subway has a bidet.
We went to Southeast Asia, and our connection was in Tokyo at the Narita airport. And when we flew in, we went to the bathroom, and the bathroom, the toilet, had a heated seat. Mm-hmm. It had all kinds of settings, crazy settings. And I'd heard about this before from other podcasts and people that have been there about how crazy this is pun intended completely, how incredibly anal the Japanese are about their toilets.
Oh yeah. It'll blow dry your butt. Like, it doesn't get better than that.
When we were remodeling our house before we moved in, so we bought this house that needed a lot of updates. So we remodeled it. That was a very special thing. And the builder had never had anybody request a Japanese style toilet before. And Cheryl's like, nope, I want the heated seat. I want the blow dryer. I want the whole deal. And it's funny because he installed it, and then he used it. And he's like, okay, you're going to find this funny, but I got one for my house.
Oh yeah, I have one. Not the fancy one. I have the one I had to install myself. But yeah, it had to have it.
Well, I would have had to install it myself, but my wallet installed it.
I love that. I love that.
Had this guy take care of it. But if you've never been to a bathroom, I don't think you've been to a bathroom until you've been to a bathroom in Japan.
Agreed.
Yeah. Now, on the other side, when you're hiking in Nepal, which we'll get there at some point to that story, and you're near the end of your tour, you've also, in the opposite direction, never been in a bathroom till you've been in a bathroom hiking in Nepal.
Thanks.
The total opposite. Back to Katie.
If you're there when it's hot, that cold spray will make life so much better in about 15 seconds.
And we talked about in the past socks making your life better.
Oh, yeah.
Remember getting clean, putting on clean
pair.
socks. Yeah.
Grip
in
your
the
feet
afternoon.
with love. Yeah.
Nothing better than a nice cool spray in your Under Armour, if you know what I mean.
Undercarriage.
I even put one of those gadgets on my Christmas list this year. Thanks for reminding me. And then there's the food. I'm not into raw fish. I did try really hard the first time I was there when I lived there, but the sea urchin did me in. I couldn't bite through it. I couldn't chew it. And when I tried to swallow it whole, I threw up all over my boss's wife's shoes.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
The gift that keeps giving, sea urchin. I'm not eating that.
You didn't have sea urchin when you were there?
Or raw fish. Nope. No thanks.
So my daughter, Autumn, this was the problem for her going to Japan is because, as you saw, Crystal, fish is such a big part of their diet. It's plentiful, it's cheap, and because of that, it's in everything. And so she had to learn to tolerate eating some fish because she was there for so long.
Right.
And that was a difficult adjustment. The cool thing is now she goes to a seafood place and there are some things that she will now order. Not everything, but some things. But I think that definitely is a downside, I would think, of going to Japan from everybody I've talked to, is that seafood is ubiquitous, and at least enjoying some of it a little bit, I think, would be a part of the trip.
The Kobe beef is what I was looking forward to, and it did not disappoint. Oh,
I don't know what the difference is between Kobe and Wagyu beef. If only there was a place I could look that up.
Right, the internet.
If only I had a device in my hand
both.
right now.
I don't know. Don't push any more buttons.
Yeah,
don't look anything else up.
Well, hopefully, and to people that are listening to the audio this later, I deleted all that. I got crazy trying to play a clip live on YouTube. We hang out live on YouTube every Friday morning, most Friday mornings. So come join us and chat about Japan or whatever we're chatting about that week. Back to Katie.
Make a first impression 2 weeks into a new job.
Oh, no.
Okay. Sorry for that grossness, but I've got recommendations that don't involve sushi for you. Definitely try the okonomiyaki. It's about $10 depending on what meats and seafoods you want in it. It's cooked in front of you on a hibachi, very casual, popular with the locals on lunch breaks and after work. And they tend to be their own restaurant, so it should kind of stand out from those big grills. Now, if you're with others, definitely go to an izakaya. The Japanese equate them to pubs where the main event is drinking, but it's really not. You order.
There is a great series I can recommend to all of our adventurers. James May, Man in Japan, and it's on Amazon Prime. And James May, for people that don't know, he was one of the 3 hosts of Top Gear, of that British car show that was so popular for a number of years. And he is a big, very, very white guy, and he towers over people in Japan.
Oh.
And he starts off in northern Japan and works his way to southern Japan. And he goes to one of these places, Katie, and it's so funny how much he liked it. He goes in, there's just a few people there. He gets a drink, he gets some great food. And before long, even though he speaks a different language, everybody's trying to include him in their conversations. And he has a wonderful time with this experience. Did you go into one of these places?
I don't know. I know we went to the place where you have to take off your shoes when you get in. And then when they take you to your table, it's like you sit down Like it's not like a regular table. It's kind of you sit down in the floor kind of. That was really cool.
Do you sit cross-legged?
Yeah, yep. But it was really cool. It was comfy.
We ate at a place like that in Nepal, and it was traditional Nepalese dining, and it was the same, super fun. It is amazing, by the way, in Nepal, of course, pretty far from Japan. I mean, relative to where we are, we look at a map, oh, it's that close, but they're way far apart. It's amazing how some of these traditions spill over into cultures, and where they end is weird. Like, how come these people sit at low tables, and then in the next, I mean, at some point in the next city, they don't do it anymore, you know? Back to Katie.
Dishes off a picture menu for the table and just dive in, try everything.
I think the picture menu is important.
Oh,
Were there picture menus most places you went? Because
we had an iPad actually, so you select your language and boom, you get to
really
know. Yeah, that was so cool. Even on the iPad, you're like, oh, I need more ketchup. Push the ketchup button, and they'll bring it. Oh, and I want another drink. Push that button. So efficient. Like the person's not bothering you, or if you need them, like, hey, give us recommendations for where to go after this. So I loved that feature.
Did you get it all off the beaten path? Because it would seem to me that not all restaurants have picture menus, and if not, it could be a struggle. I think if you don't speak Japanese or read Japanese.
That's the even funnier part. Their off the beaten path is way more advanced than our off the beaten path because that place looked 100 years old that had the iPad on the menus. I mean, the iPads look beat up, but it was still, even the one place we went up this old rickety scary elevator, and when we got up there, even we had the hibachi at our table, like little table, there was no exhaust. Best food, one of the best food I had there. So it really wasn't like their off the beaten path is so advanced. And even other stuff was still in English. Like they would have a lot of different languages. So you pretty much knew what you were getting.
Sukiyaki, exotic mushrooms, salads, yakitori. Like I said, I do have fond food memories of Japan, just not the sushi. If you find yourself with extra currency on your last day, hit up a 7-Eleven and buy a bunch of random sauces and spices, candy, unidentifiable jerky. I'm a fan of the squid one.
She's going to keep going, but I got to stop there. So this is something my daughter talked about. A 7-Eleven. If you see a 7-Eleven in Japan, it's a completely different experience than a 7-Eleven in the United States, right?
Agreed.
So you went into a 7-Eleven.
Oh yeah. Well, the one in Thailand, I bought, like, they had these cute stamps. Like if your change is like pennies, they'll give you the stamps because they have actually monetarily value. So those are really cool. But even the food was good. Like the snacks were good. Like I got the those Kit Kats, the green tea and the purple sweet potato. Like it was such a, I'm not going to call it a high class experience, but I mean, it's just a 7-Eleven, but like the thought into the products that are in there are,
it's definitely a step above what we have here for 7-Eleven.
1,000%. It's like an oasis. You're like, whoo.
Yeah, we'd ask Autumn, so where are you going? She's like, oh, I'm out on my lunch, and I'm headed to 7-Eleven for lunch. I'm like, what are you talking about? You want a Slim Jim and a Diet Coke?
And they had a lot of them too. Like, because one of the hotels in Japan, it was a 7-Eleven, like right on the way to the train. Like they're very conveniently located too.
I love Katie's idea about you've got money left.
Yeah.
Every trip I take, I end up with a random X amount of money. And so Katie now is loading up on stuff with all the money she's got left in her pockets.
You can get some stuff at the airport too, but it's more gifty than everyday stuff. Highly recommend getting the green Kit Kats. I believe it's like a matcha green tea thing.
Yeah.
And they were a big hit. Anyway, I tend to get items from both places. And this time I showed up at the next family gathering with a whole Fear Factor spread for people to try.
I love that.
It helps if they're a little tipsy, of course.
Sake. Oh my God, the sake.
Katie, that was an amazing call. Thank you so much for taking us on your adventure through Japan. It's absolutely fabulous. I love the idea of this echoes a great tip I got from a guy named Tony, a British man, at a table in Bavaria when Cheryl and I were there. He said the gift that he brings back is a bottle of wine. And the reason he brings back a bottle of wine is because the bottle of wine is consumable. And he really likes that for this reason, that it's not another tchotchke around his house. Mm-hmm. He will have a good friend over. Crystal will have you over. We'll have dinner. And you want to hear about my trip to Bavaria, I'm sure. And instead of just telling you about it, I take out the bottle of wine I got there and we share the bottle of wine together so that you have some of the experience. I have some of the experience. I don't have a tchotchke on my shelf. And it's wonderful. And then when that goes away, now I've got room for the next experience. He goes, so I always try to bring a bottle of wine, and it doesn't matter if it's good or bad. Nobody cares. Like, right. Are you going to complain about the bad Bavarian wine I bought if you're at my house for dinner? You're not. You're going to, or maybe you will, but we'll laugh about it together. You'll go, oh my God, this sucks. I'm like, oh, imagine being there. How bad it sucked. Like, it was horrible. So I love that. I love the fact, Katie, that you bring all these candies, these weird candies and all these snacks from wherever you go and let your family experience it.
Yeah, I used to do that with my nephews too. I would find the weirdest thing. I remember I found pancake flavored and bacon flavored dental floss for them. So I would always try to bring the coolest things. Even and even at the 7-Eleven too, they had these mints and they were like essential oil, but they were in these little like ball like bursts. And to get one, it was like a little maze. So it was like it was a game, a part of the candy too. Like, again, really a lot of cool stuff. 100 yen store in 7-Eleven. But yeah, we're at the halfway point. We're over the halfway point.
We
but
are
Joe,
already.
We're halfway through today's show, and I think it's time for our road trip pit stop. So on the pit stop, you're always dreaming about, okay, what's at the end of our adventure? How cool will it be when we get there? Are we there yet? And our pit stop is always a hint at our gear of the day. And you can see past gear of the days at stackingadventures.com/gear of the day.
Oh, we got some good ones now in it there.
Yeah, there's a good list. And so, Joe, do you have your GOTD?
I do. And this one, you know
me. What happened?
Yeah, you know me. Sorry.
Give us a hint.
Missed the cue. Well, here's the thing. Last year we had our easiest cue ever with the amazing and delightful mother-daughter combo of Sharon and Christy.
Yeah.
They were fantastic. And by the way, that book is picture pornography. It is just, it's gorgeous in those drinks. Today's going to be easy. It's hard for me not to make this really easy, Crystal.
Okay.
So let me tell you this. This gear of the day will make sure that when you're on your adventure, your stuff all is safe and sound and in one place. Oh, that's too easy. It's way too easy.
Is it a safe? You're saying safe, a portable safe?
Well, hold on. Think about it for a second. I'll repeat it after the break, and you can take a swing, and we'll tell everybody at the end of the show. We'll be right back. Well, Crystal, have you given it some thought?
Well, yeah. You said keep your stuff safe, so I would think it's a safe or a man purse or a fanny pack. Maybe a fanny pack.
Do I? That says a lot about what you think about me. Thinking this guy looks like he wears a fanny pack.
Yeah, you give fanny pack vibes.
Nice, good.
High pants and a fanny pack.
Dad bod jeans.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Up to the neck.
I gotta keep that weight loss stuff going. All right, that's Crystal's guess. What is yours? We're gonna come back to that at the end of the show and share it. And I think you're all gonna like our gear of the day. Is she right?
Okay.
I don't know.
Fanny pack.
You know what, man? I'm gonna have time. Looking at the time, we've got time now for one more. Some of these are gonna move into our potpourri part of the show. Our friend Roy, we've also known Roy. I've never met Roy, but Roy has been a member of the Stacking Benjamins family for a long time. And he is across the pond, as we say, in the UK. Be interesting to hear. I wonder, Roy, by the way, about you and Scotland. We talked about Scotland, and a little preview. We have Ireland coming up very soon because we have an adventurer who we just found out went to Ireland. So she's going to be on the show fairly soon, talking about her adventure.
She's still there, actually.
We're doing a lot of the British Isles right now, and Ireland are like, don't call them British Isles. I know, and Ireland on top of that. Easy, Irish people. That. Yeah. Roy, say hello.
Hi, it's Roy from across the pond. Here are my tips about traveling to Japan. My wife and 2 teenagers spent 17 days in Japan in August.
Wow.
17 days.
Again, 17. Sorry to cut you off in the middle, Roy, but that just hit me that they're both 17. Yeah. Again, longer trip, Crystal. You're going halfway around the world. Make it worth it. 14 days, if you go Friday to Friday, that's 14. So 15, 16 is the weekend. So 16 for a lot of people they can do just with 2 weeks time off. 17, one more day. That's when it I think starts to get tough for a lot of people. But anyway, sorry, Roy. Back to Roy in the middle of a sentence.
Visited Tokyo, Hakone, Hiroshima, Kyoto, Nara, Osaka, and Amori.
We're going to break this up more. I know that in the future we may talk about some of these other places, Roy, that you went. Specifically now, Crystal, you went to Kyoto and to Tokyo. We're interested in that.
Right, in Hakone, yeah.
He's going to talk, I think, just a little bit about Hiroshima. But I have to tell you, when my daughter went to Hiroshima, it was eerie. It was a little uncomfortable. People made her feel, of course, made her feel comfortable, but being in the place where the U.S. dropped a bomb, a horrific bomb on Japan is a pretty moving, horrifying, thoughtful place to be, among a lot of other obvious emotions. But anyway, Roy, back to you.
At least 2 weeks in Japan to see the major attractions and get a proper feel for Japan. Plan as much as you can in advance, but don't try to fit in too much in one day.
So when Cheryl and I first met, we were first married, she agreed, Crystal, to take part of our honeymoon to the Magic Kingdom. Because
Disney, okay.
Because one of us loves Disney a little bit, right? So she's like, okay, much. We can go there for part of it. So we went, and back then I would do these touring plans. You can still find them online, where it's how do you make the most? There's so much to see. How do you make the most out of it? And I had this whole plan of, okay, we're going to go. The average person goes clockwise, we're going to go counterclockwise, and then we're going to hit this, 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 we're going to hit this. And these are the general times, and these attractions are filling up. And Crystal, I tried really hard inadvertently to ruin the trip. It absolutely, Cheryl, after 2 days of it, she's like, I'm exhausted and this sucks. And so the third day we didn't have any plan. And I got to tell you, Roy, 100%, a big mistake people make, not just at Disney, but just on trips. Generally now we have a few highlights we want to hit, and that's it. If I go here and I go here and I go here, and I know we can easily cover that in half a day. If we hurry, we can cover it in half a day. We'll leave the other half of the day for serendipity. It's so much better. You traveled. You've talked before, Crystal, about traveling with somebody. They had like 15-minute increments or something? Well,
it was a spreadsheet of activities. So that was exhausting. And you also be careful of prepaying for things, because so it was a spreadsheet of activities. We prepaid for everything. And so at one point in the trip, because it was Hawaii, one of the boat trips, I got so sick. I was like, no more boats. So I found a friend who lived there. I was like, hey, you could go parasailing for me. I already prepaid, but I was like, I cannot get on another boat because, those are big waves out there. And we did so many activities. So be wary of, too many activities planned and prepaying for those because I was not anticipating, because that's something you can't plan for, because I've never been sick on a boat, but Hawaiian waves are another level. And I don't know how long I was there, but this was after like the 10th, I want to say, activity where I was like, okay, no more boats.
I'm done.
Yeah.
And there is something to be said on some days during your vacation. If you've got an Airbnb, a nice hotel, you're in a nice neighborhood, just wandering around the area, it's not a tourist attraction as much as it's just seeing how the locals live a little bit, or relaxing in the beautiful hotel room you're in. There's something to be said for that. So, Roy, I really like that advice, no matter.
Yeah, I like that too.
Make reservations for the popular items and your must-see attractions. If you plan to travel between major cities or long distances, get the JR Pass and upgrade to the green car. Having the green car upgrade saved our sushi when we had a domestic flight canceled due to a typhoon, and reservations were required for all of the bullet trains. The green car pass allows you to reserve all of your bullet trains and is so much more comfortable. Avoid August.
Well, before we get to Roy's August advice here and avoiding that, the train system, again, when you hear one person say something, it's a big deal. You hear a lot of people say it. The train system, a must. And I love this green pass advice. Crystal, do you have the green pass?
No, but the bullet train it was like being on a roller coaster. Like that was one of the coolest experiences of my life, was being on that bullet train.
When we were in France, we got involved inadvertently in a train strike. And the good news was we had first class tickets, which didn't give us a guaranteed seat, but it did get us into the first class area. We actually squatted in some seats, hoping like hell that nobody would show up.
Like the baseball games, the closer seats.
Yes. Yeah. Hoping the real people wouldn't show up. And the good news is they didn't. And the bad news is this train, because so many trains were canceled, filled up with people. There were people standing, and I think I mentioned this on a prior show. We had this happen in the UK where we stood between London and, in the US we call it Birmingham, but it's like Birmingham. But between these two cities, I had to stand for like 2 hours because there was nothing. I don't remember how far it is. People in the UK screaming at me, it's not that far, or it's farther, whatever. I had to stand for a long time. And people were standing in the aisles, and nobody came for these seats, thank goodness. But because I had a first class ticket, I was able to get into the first class area, had a nice wide seat. And even on the ground, there was a little more room.
5 plus every day. Be prepared to walk 10 plus miles a day. If you're planning to visit multiple destinations, use a luggage transport system through your hotel to transfer your cases.
We were planning to go, Roy, and COVID hit. We were planning to go visit my daughter. We never made it there because of COVID, but we had arranged this. We got that same advice, Crystal, that the hotels in Japan have these luggage transfer systems, and you could just make it real easy on yourself. Go hit the heights between place A and place B. Don't worry about your luggage. Your luggage will show up at the next hotel because you have this transportation system.
Well, with the tour that I was on, I didn't realize it, but yeah, they took care of all the luggage.
Oh, sure.
That makes sense now. Like,
that's the upside of doing a tour as well.
But Italy, I did take the train from Venice to Milan, and yeah, you take your own stuff. But that train ride was nice too. Also,
on the walking part, a lot of us don't get in the steps that we need to get in. It's why, speaking of Disney, you'll see so many frustrated people around 4:00 at Disney because you're like, oh, I'm just going to walk over to Adventureland. Then I'm going to go over to this land. Then go over to this. You're not used to walking 25,000 steps a day. So before these vacations, get walking. My mom does not walk a ton, and she's going to be going on a Christmas cruise with us next December, not this December, but next December, my sister and I are already telling her, we're like, Mom, you got to get out and get walking.
Oh,
you got to get out and get walking just because you're going to really enjoy it. But you don't want to be in the middle of a Christmas market. Your feet hurt like hell. Your legs are screaming and you can't enjoy how beautiful it is around you. So whenever we're around Mom, we're taking her out on walks.
Oh, good idea.
To get her ready and up to some steps, because Mom not getting enough steps.
And we'd hate to leave you behind.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, Mom. Well, and the good news about my mom too, and she's already said this, she's like, there are times when I'll just stay on the boat and I'll enjoy the boat, which is, again, that's perfectly fine. But she's there for some. She wants to get some of this Christmas market atmosphere. So go do it. All right, back to Roy.
Buy Apple AirTags for peace of mind to track your luggage.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
The Apple AirTags. We cut this out of the non-live version of this, but Cheryl came in looking for her phone. And so we had to pause. We're like, we need an AirTag for Cheryl's phone. I got that for my wallet for the same reason, Roy. But the AirTags.
Good idea.
You'll know where your stuff is.
Get up early to beat the crowds at major tourist sites. We got to Nara and Fushimi Inari Shrine around 8 a.m. and pretty much had them to ourselves. But by 9 a.m., it was packed.
I love that.
We did this in Peru, and it was actually our tour guides that said this. They said, here's our day plan. And I think this is a great day plan wherever you go. Get up early, get it done, and when the crowds roll in, take your afternoon nap, go to a park, go to someplace relaxing, read your book because you're on vacation. Like, get up, do the touristy stuff fast. You'll do it so much quicker, Crystal.
Oh, yeah, priceless. When I was in Dubai, the Dubai Mall has a ski resort in the mall. Like,
of course it does.
You can go to the desert and the ski in the same day, which is what we did in Dubai. And that was my thought. I was like, we're going to get there right when they open before the parents, rustle all the kids together and, all that. And so we had done every single adventure in the park. And as we were finishing up the last one, like the line to come in and like all the attractions that we passed, like it was unbearable. There were just so many people. And I was like, see, you got to get up and out before, because all the people are awake. And no. It
is such great advice, Roy. You can get so much more done. And frankly, the stuff you get done, Crystal, you also enjoy it more because it's just not a mob scene.
Yep. Agreed.
Food is amazing and reasonably priced. Combini food from Lawson's or 7-Eleven is a must try and will surprise you how good it is.
How about that? Another vote for 7-Eleven.
Yep. That's so funny.
The convenience store experience is
top
so
tier.
good.
It's top tier.
Here's what's frustrating to me with going abroad with picky eaters. And this is a great lesson I learned from Tony Bourdain, because while I'm not a picky eater, I kind of like to know what I'm eating. And if it's new or strange or different, like anybody, I'm like, I don't know. And Tony Bourdain had this great line, which was, and for people who don't know Tony Bourdain, he was a famous chef and did all kinds of shows, TV shows. He had a wonderful book, Kitchen Confidential, another one where he was going around the world trying different foods. But this Tony Bourdain line, Crystal, was, people say your body's a temple. He's like, when it comes to food and different foods around the world, your body's not a temple, it's a play toy. Like, feed it different things, experiment, just see what it's like. What is the worst thing that happens? You don't like it, right? And can you live through, I don't like it? The answer is yes. So, and I know this is hard to do with kids, but that got through my head. And now somebody's like, you want to try the thing? We're in Japan. You want to try we're in Vietnam. Why don't I use a place I've been? We're in Vietnam. You want to try this thing that looks absolutely gross? Yes, I do want to try it. And then I figured out that it was actually pretty good. Or in some cases, it was gross.
Yeah, no, I love that too, because I have a challenge. I can even send you, if you want, my little checklist. So I'm reading a book and they recommended, 30 different plants per month, per week. And I've been adding 5, so I'm up to 40. And when I go to the farmer's market, and everything counts, like rice, grains, fruits, vegetables, like stuff that
Oh,
grows.
that you're eating, you mean?
Yeah, you have to eat something that grows. Try to get 30 different ones per week in your food. So when I try to find something new at the farmer's market once a week or once a month, and it's adding to my ecosystem of stuff that I'm trying. Because I've tried purple. Didn't even know they made purple bell peppers. Like they come in purple. Garlic grows purple too. So I've been trying some cool stuff. Yeah,
that's awesome. Back to Roy.
Yeah.
Get an eSIM for your phone. Google Maps was great to use when navigating. Bring a phone charging pack. I read a lot of tips prior to going to Japan saying Japan was not credit card friendly, but I didn't find this to be the case.
Did you find it to be credit card friendly?
Yeah. That was like the universal language. They split your checks, like they do everything like the same.
If you do need yen, go to a 7-Eleven. Asakusa Sumo Show was a great time. Hiroshima was surreal to visit. Nintendo Land at Universal Studios is worth the hype. Eat your way through Nishiki Market. And Japan is one of the nicest places to visit that has some of the kindest people. Japan is a once-in-a-lifetime trip unless you love it as much as we did. I can't wait to go back. Sayonara and happy traveling.
Sayonara. Yeah, I'm already planning another trip back.
Thank you, Roy, for that wonderful call. You know, a couple things there. He talked about Nintendo Land. Did you go to Nintendo Land?
No, I saw a Sega Genesis. It was really cool. They had a store in one of the areas, but no, I didn't.
I've also heard, speaking of theme parks, that Disney Seas is the best. If you're a Disney fan like I am, Disney Seas is the pinnacle of all Disney theme parks. And that is outside Tokyo. I've also heard, by the way, that it's sister park right next door, because some people will go to both. Disneyland, Tokyo Disneyland is universally acclaimed as the worst Disney park of all. So
funny.
If you only have time to go to one, go to Disney Seas. People won't do that though, Crystal. They'll go, oh, one's Disneyland. I got to go to Disneyland.
Right.
This Disney Seas thing I won't go to. People that know it's the opposite way around.
Insider.
Yeah. Also in Tokyo, another thing we didn't talk about, Studio Ghibli, for people that like those movies. Have you seen any of the animated movies, Studio Ghibli? Spirited Away. Spirited Away.
That's huge. Yeah, the anime, all that anime.
Yes.
My friend that I went with, she did. So we went all in those areas, but it was really cool. Really cool.
Some of the movies, a lot of the movies, I'm sure people have heard of, and they don't even know that they know the movies. Let me see. My Neighbor Totoro, from Up on Poppy Hill, Tales from Earth, Howl's Moving Castle was a big one. Ponyo was a big one. I think Spirit Away was my favorite. Castle in the Sky. Kiki's Delivery Service is a really fun one. But anyway, great movies. I really enjoy. They're delightfully weird, Crystal. They're pretty strange, but very good.
Putting these on my list.
Highly recommend these movies. It's funny. I remember showing our kids these movies, and at first, like, this is really weird. And we finish each one. They're like, that was one of the best animated movies I've ever seen. My kids are maybe 10. And you can't parse everything that's going on because some of it's really Japanese mystical and weird, but that was part of the fun of those movies. Gotcha. So Roy sounds like a wonderful adventure. And I love it when it's such a good adventure, Crystal, that at the time when you go, you think it's a once in a lifetime and you're like, I can't wait to do it again. Can't wait to go back.
Yeah. Thanks, Roy and Katie.
All right. Time for the gear of the day, reveal. Crystal.
Okay. So it was keeps your stuff safe and all together and with you. Yeah, I would say fanny pack. That's my final answer.
Well, this is, if you take a fanny pack and you supersize it, you have what we have, because nobody yet has said your luggage, but not any generic luggage. This is luggage that's very specific. I love my Away bag.
Oh,
I
away
love my
bag?
away bag. And by the way, if you're not with us live on YouTube, what you're not seeing is I've got stickers on my bag.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting you to lift the bag and show
So
us
the first thing I
bag.
like about my away bag is that they used to, by the way, be a sponsor of Stacking Benjamins, which is why I got my first one. I would have never bought a bag that you can't just get at like TJ Maxx and then just, dispose of it later. Just luggage is luggage. Turns out I was wrong because I'm addicted to this bag.
Oh,
What I like first about it is that you can buy them without a battery pack now, but it comes with a little slot with a battery pack. And obviously you take that out when you go through TSA, but I always have my away battery pack, and man, those last a long time. So I like it with the battery pack. Second thing is the roller and the obviously it's your average bag that fits perfectly in the overhead bins. It's easy to travel with, and I don't know what this material is it's made out of, but I can stuff so much crap in here and sit on the bag and zip it around, and it stays zipped. And on the way back from the trip, when you don't think you have enough room,
yes,
I always find a way to take. So I don't need the monster bag. This one, I've taken this for 2 weeks into, to Europe, to Asia, to different places. We have packed a second bag that we use for both of us.
Oh, good.
So I'll pack in here an overflow bag that then I will check this piece of luggage on the way home. I'll carry it on the way there to make sure I got my stuff.
Oh,
on the
it
way,
fits in the overhead bin?
yeah, it's not big.
Oh, wow. Okay.
No, it's not big. The other hack, the thing that I like is people, if you're listening to the audio of this, I've got stickers all over it. This is also from my daughter, Autumn. We used to come back with a lot of tchotchkes, as I mentioned. I love that advice from Tony about, and I can't believe I remember that guy's name. Tony from the UK about the wine. But I also do like having a little memento. But I also like the fact that memento might not last forever. And so I spend some of my time, walking into stores looking for a little sticker. And I find a sticker from the place that I visit, and I slap a sticker on my luggage. Now, sometimes they come off. My one from Peru has already come off. I've got one specifically from Valparaiso. You can see that one's like half off.
Yeah.
I keep trying to reapply it, and it keeps wanting to come off. That'll be off fairly soon. But what's wild is when my last away bag, finally after many, many, many trips, my entire book tour where I went to 40 different cities, when that bag died, it was just, there were stickers all over the bag. And it was kind of neat to take pictures of it before I let it go, and just remember that bag. And now I've got a fresh new slate. I remember a woman, Tracy McCubbin, was a organizational expert who was on Stacking Benjamins. And Tracy said something really cool. As people get older, they fill up their house with tchotchkes and things that they've done. When somebody's young, they have a lot of white walls. So it's like somebody who's young has the future in front of them, and they're excited about the future. And as we age, we turn away from the future and we turn around toward the past and stuff we've done. And when we near the end, our house is so cluttered with places we've been, and we're remembering where we've been. We forget to keep living. We forget to keep doing stuff. So I love, Crystal, the idea that this bag, my second bag, has a ton of white space for adventures that I can take in the future.
I love that. It's like your passport stamps too. It's like when you fill up the one, you're sad to see it go, but then your next empty one, you're like, it's time to fill this baby up.
I know.
Yeah, I
know.
like that too.
It's absolutely great. So I can't recommend the away bag more. They stopped sponsoring our show when they had a huge internal conflict. CEO left and all kinds of stuff. They stopped sponsoring everything. I saw they're back out sponsoring stuff, not really podcast anymore. But yeah, I got my first one for free. That was 2 bags ago. This is my third one. I bought the last one and I bought this one. So highly recommend away luggage to people. And we can easily put that on our Gear of the Day list.
Page, yeah.
All right. So here is our question about fanny pack. I
wouldn't put it past you.
Here is our question. What adventures have you had in Japan? We'll feature that in a travel potpourri episode coming soon. But the ones we're really interested in, adventurers, we've got a couple episodes coming up that we need your help on. We've had a few people tell us about their trip to Peru. If you have gone to Peru, tell us about yours. What was your favorite ghost tour or least favorite ghost tour? Like my Texarkana ghost tour, which was horrible. But those are funny stories with ghost tour gone wrong.
Memories.
And your favorite New Orleans trip highlights. Is there a certain bar you went to, a restaurant you went to, maybe a haunted thing you went to in New Orleans? Those will be great. Share with us your best, your worst, your top, and maybe the time you barfed in your boss's wife's shoes. Jump on our voicemail and leave that story or tip. We need the Peruans now if you're going to make the show. stackingventures.com/mystory. stackingventures.com/voicemail. What's your biggest takeaway from today, Crystal?
Well, it's the planning part. Like, please don't, because that just gave me trauma flashbacks of when I got sick on the boat, and I was kind of pissed that I had prepaid, because Hawaii has these amazing macadamia nuts and these cookies. I could have bought so many more cookies with that money that I spent on parasailing. So don't overextend yourself before you get there. That's my advice.
I love that one. I also love the advice to start early. I think that's great advice.
Yep.
And I love the advice from Katie. I love all of Roy and Katie's advice, but I love the advice from Katie. You got that money left over in your bag? Grab some Fear Factor stuff.
Yep, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna adopt that
for the next gathering. I also like, from Katie, I really like the idea of playing exchange rates.
Yes.
I never thought about that.
Yes. The arbitrage, that's what we call it.
It is. It's super good. Well, that's going to end it for today, adventurers.
This is the part I hate, saying goodbye. Next
week is our greatest hits week. This show's too young to have greatest hits, but we're going to go back into the Stacking Benjamins archive and play a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful interview I did that taught me a lot about adventuring. A guy named Joseph Rosendo has a it's won a ton of awards. His show, Kaleidoscope, has won a bunch of travel awards and a bunch of best television awards. We're going to hear Joseph Rosendo's time on the Stacking Benjamin show, his interview from there next week. And then in 2 weeks, when we're back, we head to Ireland, Crystal.
Ireland, mate.
It's going to be...
No, that's not right.
I don't think so.
I'm going to wear my Kiss Me I'm Irish pants again.
Perfect. Well, on that note, she is Crystal.
And I'm Joe. Just kidding. He's Joe.
We'll see you next time, everybody.
Thanks, you guys.
Well, this is a show that historically doesn't have an after show, but you know what, Crystal? I always forget to look at the comments.
Thanks.
While we're
Appreciate that.
Recording. Graham is with us. Graham says, good morning. I saw a YouTube short comparing the cost of going to Disney in Japan to Disney World from Canada. Surprise. With flights, Japan is cheaper. So Graham hitting up that exchange rate
Exchange
game.
rate.
Aaron is with us. He says, this is maybe more general vacation planning question. I tend to want to plan every day of our vacation. My wife likes to go with less planning and let things be a bit more spontaneous. Aaron, if you hung out with us, you heard that in the show. Yeah, because I think there's a great midway.
Yeah. Aaron, please call in and tell us about the times that it worked well and the times that it backfired and that you were told, I told you so.
Yeah, please. Because if you hung out with us today, you saw this is the way we make the show. It is user community content, which makes it super fun for us. And I think for you, I listen to a few travel shows. Those are always my favorite ones. So as they say with anything, take what you like and pay homage to it and make it your own. Andrew also says, I also feel like it'll end up being, what do you want to do? I don't know I don't know. What do you want to do? Oh, both people
No,
going.
you hang up. No, you hang up. You hang up.
Seems to me like it's best to have a balanced amount of both. What are your thoughts? Cheryl and I vote. So Cheryl's the planner for most vacations. I generally have 2 or 3 things that I really, really want to do. And so she makes sure that we do the 2 or 3 things that I want to do in those vacations. And she knows the stuff that I really like. I like going to,
that's good.
I like picking out a good restaurant or two. If we go to Tokyo, I'm going to want to go to Disney Seas, right? I also don't want to overplan the day. I've become the stickler on that one, going, no, I was the overplanner. Now I'm the exact opposite. I'm like, less is better. Please God, let me just read by the pool for a while. That will be great. But yeah,
I'm a little bipolar on that. I don't know. I guess it depends. Sometimes I'm chameleon, Crystal. I don't care. Whatever you want to do, let's do it. And then sometimes I'm like, all right, I'm in the mood for this. But if it's someone's birthday, you have to do what they want to do. Like they are in charge for the whole day. It's like, I can't complain. This is where you want to go. Fine. But I mean,
but a lot of times that ends up being serendipity for you. Like you all of a sudden go, wow, I didn't think I'd like this.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, laissez-faire.
All right. Thanks for the comments, everybody.